Today I'm working on my Freightliner rollback. I took it over to the other property the other day, took my grade over there to do some work. Came back the next day, went to go start it, batteries were completely dead. This is unlike this truck, it's never done this before, and the batteries that were in it were from 2019, all three of them. So I just took two batteries out of another truck to put in it to get it home. Then I figured we'd look into the problem. So I started taking it apart, and I found that this connection, as you can see, these are pretty cruddy back here. This connection right here had corroded in two. I'll insert the pictures right here of the old eyelet. So I went over there with a new eyelet and a crimp terminal. It goes into this circuit breaker right here, and crimped it back on enough that we could get it home. That was the problem. I think that was making and breaking contact and waking up all the modules and the ECMs and then shutting it down and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until it was dead, because it's never done this before. But then I went to go take it apart, and of course, you know, it's Northeast Ohio and we're in the Rust Belt. The battery hold down broke. So I just took some all thread, welded some washers on the bottom of it and covered it in never seize. And we're gonna run them up through the bottom, and then I'm gonna sleeve them with brake line, air line over top of it, and then we'll put a washer and a nut to hold it. And then I took the battery hold down. You know, I do what I do. I took it in the shop, cleaned off the needle scaler, and primed and painted it because it was pretty rusty like everything else on this truck. So now I need to get all this apart, clean up all my connections, and then get it back together. Make sure, and then leave it here for a few days and make sure it's okay and there's no other problems. Alright, so this is how it turned out. The air line, put a washer and a nut here to hold this from falling out. It gives me a little something to grab a hold of right here. And I've anti-seized all the way down through, so I should be able to get this off if I ever need to. And I use nylocks on the top on both sides. Like I said, it gives me a little room in here if I gotta get vice grips on it or a wrench or something to hold that. Now we're gonna start it and see how she does. See if she's okay. And then what I need to do is leave it here for a few days and recheck it. Make sure we're charging okay. $14.4, $14.5. It's charging all right. It's got a check engine light. The doser valve is acting up on this thing. If you know anything about Freightliner and DD13s and 15s, they use a one unit. And as of right now, as of for the last few months, the Freightliner dealer hasn't had any. It needs replaced. It's like one expensive unit. Never ends. It's the next day. Let's see if it's quite a bit warmer today too. How about that? Let's see if it'll fire up this time. Battery's up, lights are on. Yeah, I'd say that's probably got it fixed, but we'll try a couple more times. Let it sit for a couple more days, and if it's okay, then we'll take it back over to the other property and drop it off. Much warmer today. It's 3 days later. Let's see if she still starts. Dome lights on, that's a good sign. Well, looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna say we're fixed. I think I'll go ahead and I'm gonna let this run for just a little while, and I think we'll go ahead and take this over the other property and park it and get it out of our way, because I think we're fixed. I'm gonna call Freightliner again, see if we got that. It's that one unit. It's on top of the DPF, on top of the after treatment system. There's I believe actually what's wrong with it is the heater. The one heater is bad, And I've heard guys talk about taking them apart and replacing and pieces and what have you, but I don't know if they're having good luck with it, and I just prefer to replace the whole unit. So I'm gonna call Freightliner, see if they have it available yet. I'm not excited about the cost, but it is what it is. I got the call. My tanks are polished. I dropped off tanks for Project Overkill and for my black wrecker, and I just got the call and they said that they're ready to go, all polished up and ready to be picked up. So we'll warm the truck up. Got a old comforter, we're gonna lay them on and strap them down. I gotta get some microfiber towels because I'm gonna run straps over the tanks. I don't want them to get all scratched up after just being polished. Well, we got them on our way home. He wrapped them in that blue wrap to protect them. One of the ones for the F450 where the strap was, as he started to polish on it, he had to clean it up, and some of the corrosion popped off, and it may be turning into a leak. I may have to have the tank patched. I don't know. We'll have to see, but we'll deal with it when the time comes. I'm not too concerned. I think we can fix it. This is the 450. If you remember right, we had problems with the instrument cluster. The original one said 164. This one, I ordered another one. The other one was not the correct one, and it quit working on us. Well, this one was obviously from an automatic, so we didn't have this little block off plate. So one of our subscribers sent it to us, so today I'm gonna get that out of there and we're gonna put it in, but we're also gonna go through and replace a bunch of light bulbs in there because it doesn't light up very well. There's a lot of bulbs that are out. Okay, this is so simple. This literally just slides in the back side, right? Like this, and then snaps in. That's it. Takes care of it. So now I want to go through and replace all these light bulbs that are bad. The only one that doesn't work is a four-wheel drive, and I don't know where it's at. That's his theft. I don't know. I'll have to look. But there's the only one that doesn't light. Well, it's not true either. I'd like to change these to LEDs, but I don't know if I can get them. I'm looking for the four-wheel drive indicator. I'll have to look through the front and see. Put some sunlight to it and see if I can find it. But it doesn't indicate when you turn it on. I want to make sure it's a good bulb. The bulb looks good, but what I think I'm going to do is just put it back in here, and I'm going to take jumper leads and a fuse, and I'm just going to go positive to ground on each one of these. I can come right up here on the terminals and test the whole circuit. So I'll have to find the ground, which isn't a big deal. You just find the banding, which is this band right here. 220 ohms. You follow this, and it comes up here, and you can track it down to which one it is. I can put a ground on that, and then, or I can just put it here. Oh, the brake one's not in there. Wonder what that's about. Because the parking brake works. Maybe that's not brake. I don't know. Anyways, we're going to test them all. See what works, see what doesn't. Alright, so what I've done, I've got my jump pack on here, and I brought a ground over. This was an open spot, so I've hit it on that ribbon circuit. I come off the positive, added a 2 amp circuit or fuse, so if I touch anything I shouldn't, then it should pop the fuse. So I'm going to be careful. I can see where the circuits, you trace it out, you can see these come up as to the power to turn them on. So I want to just touch them and make sure they work. This is a low range. This is SES, safety. There's a four-wheel drive. That's the brake. That's the door jar. This one doesn't work. I've never seen that come on. And let's see. Got one here. If I can get onto that one or not. There we go. That's a way to start. It works. And the top is a cruise control. You just got to be careful which one you touch. Illumination. That one I need to trace out and find out which one's ground. Yeah, I'll probably come up here on one of the tabs and get that, but let's see. I'll just go through and trace these and check each one by one. So there's actually only one burnt out. The rest of them, these little copper tips right here, little contacts, were just crushed, and a couple of them were loose, not making good contact. So I took the bulb out and tested them, and I just pull these out just a little bit. Just get behind it, give it a little pull. That makes it fit tighter. For how long? I don't know. There we go. That fits better. Just give it a little wiggle, make sure we get good contact. So just one bulb burnout. Everything else works. So my problem with my four-wheel drive not coming on is not in this, so it might be in the actual switch that sends the power up here, because all my bulbs are good. Every bulb on here works like it's supposed to. If I wasn't in a hurry, I'd replace these with LEDs. You know, the ones that actually backlight this. Make it a little bit brighter, because man, these old ones compared to the new ones, these are kind of hard to see. I ain't quite as young as I once was either, but I really don't have time, and it doesn't really matter, so let's just put it in. It's back in. We're going to clean this up before we put it in, but more importantly, we're going to take the opportunity to clean like in the spots you couldn't get to when the trim was on. Get some of that dirt out of there too. Well, we're on our second tank since we put the Hot Shot Secrets in the engine for the injectors, and I'm going to put more in the tank now. But we still have a pretty good mess. It will get lighter and not as bad, but it never really goes away. So I have my doubts if we're going to be able to cure that with that stuff. I think it's just going to be, you know, a mechanical failure that just can't come back. But we're going to put more stuff in it, and we'll drive a couple more tanks through it and see what happens. I'm not usually too hopeful with any type of additive. I don't use additives. They're just not. I just prefer to fix the problem. You know, the thing is with this truck is this truck just isn't really have enough value to put in 8 injectors, which that's what I would do. And at the same time, I would, you know, go through the high pressure oil system and make sure everything's good there as well. But anyways, we'll keep you posted. Let's move on to the next thing we need to fix today, because there's plenty. We're still having troubles with the old girl starting. You can give it a snort of the good stuff and it will start on that, but once it burns that up, it stalls out. So we're going to start with a good Motorcraft fuel filter, get that changed out. This fuel filter's not old in this truck, but you know, gotta start with the basics first, get all the bases covered, and move on from there. So I guess it goes right in here, so we'll go grab a 1/2 inch ratchet extension, get that out of there. Almost tall enough to get up here. I always look down in here for leaks on that STC fitting. I don't think it's the high pressure oil draining down. If anything, I think it's the fuel drain back. Yeah, it ain't the fuel filter. That was plenty full too. I just put this filter in when Brandon took it. So I did all that work to it. Yeah, I don't think that's the problem. Well, that sure looks clean. I hate the smell of diesel fuel. I cannot stand diesel fuel on my hands. This is one of the few times I actually wear gloves. You know, that felt like that wasn't very tight. I think before I change this filter, I'm gonna tighten this back up, because if it's letting it drain out from here, it could be the seal right here letting it push it down in there easy. I don't want to make a big mess. Yeah, we're going to anyways. Trying to be gentle. Anyways, I think what I'm going to do, since that wasn't very tight, is I'm going to go ahead and snug this up. And we'll come back to this in the morning and see how it starts before I change a fuel filter. That's tight. Wasn't quite that tight before. So, let's come back in the morning. It's supposed to be cold tomorrow. We'll see what that's like. Well, it's been 4 days since I tightened up that fuel filter. It's been cold enough that this is going to have a problem starting. It should today. Of course, our temperatures they're not typical for this time of year. I don't know, maybe that was the problem. It was sucking air instead of fuel, or getting air in there instead of mixed with the fuel. Because I mean, it's running good. It's smooth. As smooth as it is. Still got a lazy injector, but we'll try it again in a few days. Well, this truck's been sitting for a week now while me and my wife have been sick. So we'll come out and test start it. See if it was just air getting in the fuel, or if I have another problem I need to look into. We had snow on the ground last night and it's melted off now. Let's see. Yeah, that started pretty good. Our temperatures were below freezing last night, and it's been sitting in the shade, so that may have just been our problem. That fuel filter cap probably was letting air in the system, so it would let the fuel bleed back down, because if you open an air source, some air can get in at the top. It can let all the fuel roll back to the tank. So if it lets it siphon back to the tank, then while we're cranking, we got to fill up that air bowl and then fill the whole fuel system again, because it could have drained it. So that may have been the problem, because I've started it now several times and it's starting really good. I mean, when it did start before, after cranking it for a while, it would really run rough, and I believe that was the air in the fuel was part of the problem why it ran so rough. We had absolutely no throttle response at all until it ran for a while and like worked the air out. I don't think it was high pressure oil, because I put the scanner on it and I watched the high pressure oil while I was cranking, and I had good oil pressure on the high pressure side, so I don't think that was it. I have another hood for this. I'm probably going to swap that out sometime soon, maybe in the next video. And also, one of the next things we're going to have to do is that pinion, the bearing has quite a bit of play in it, and you can grab a hold of the yoke and turn it quite a bit. So we're going to have to do something with that rear end, either repair it, replace it, something. And then the transfer case itself is got some slop in the chain, so we may have to get into that. I don't know how far we're going to go with this truck. I don't know, if it's really going the wrong way. There we go. I don't really know if it's worth all the effort I'm doing. I may just swap a used rear end and used transfer case in it. I'd rather rebuild the rear end, mostly because of miles on the truck. And, it has some value to me. It's not a significant amount. I did locate a replacement cab that's rust free. I thought about picking up. Guy only wants $800 for it. I don't think I could do all this work for $800. I don't know. Have to see. But that'll be in the next video. Or next time we work on it, we'll bring you along.
Thanks for watching. Been man, 5 or 6 days now. I left that turned on so we could see if we actually fix the problem. Because this has that's a battery disconnect switch. So I wanted to leave it turned on just to make sure that I don't have any other problems. So far so good. Dome light's on, it lit up. Yeah, I'd say I took care of the problem there too. Because I know when it went dead, there was nothing turned on. I didn't accidentally leave anything on. So I'll let this run a while and build up air and all that. Top the batteries off, and then I'll shut it off. And I'll probably just take this over to the other property and see if I can get it over in the other shop and get it parked inside. Have to work on that once we feel a little better. Anyways, thanks for watching.